We are recording this session and we'll post the video on our YouTube channel for viewing later. Besides the return to in-person events, 2022 marks another notable milestone. This year, we commemorate the 10th anniversary of our annual authors event, a celebration launched in 2013 in partnership with the Office of the Provost to show institutional appreciation of Drexel authors and their published contributions to scholarship and creative expression. Achieving this objective is also focused on evolving a diverse and inclusive community culture at Drexel around the life of the mind. Since the beginning, the event has raised morale and built the university's reputation by celebrating our collective intellect and nurturing creativity across disciplinary boundaries and among all faculty, professional staff, and students. A lot has changed over the past decade. Over the years, we have expanded the scope of this authors event. In 2017, we included journal article authors in the program for the first time. And we also committed to offering a virtual option to participate in the celebration. And that experience certainly came in handy when we pivoted to holding all events virtually due to the pandemic. Admittedly, while this event looks different than it did 10 years ago, we continue to face some of the same challenges to planning this program as we did in 2013. For one, identifying Drexel-generated publications continues to challenge us. How do we find and identify all Drexel publications? Honestly, we don't. We ask faculty, staff, and students to self-identify their monographs. For journal articles, however, we look to advanced systems like the Web of Science and Insights to help us generate lists of journal article authors, which give us some sense of the number of journal articles published each year. Using these tools certainly does not produce a comprehensive list, and we know that we miss many publications from year to year. The changing publication landscape, though, also poses interesting challenges for us. Publications go beyond books and journals, and dissemination goes beyond peer-reviewed, edited, and otherwise vetted preparations by publishers. Self-publishing platforms, easy-to-use online tools, and even social media have facilitated authors to become publishers. Nowadays, a person can create a book, a report, or data set of research findings, or audio and visual creative expressions, and disseminate them for others to see and use without the formal publishing industry and scholarly communication protocols and designations. For the purposes of this celebratory event, however, we have defined an author as someone who published a complete monograph or edited a serial publication. We have honored only books that have an International Standard Book Number or ISBN. When we began this event, typically this unique number indicated that the work had gone through a publishing house's traditional peer review or editing process. However, that operational definition may no longer be appropriate. Last year, for example, undergraduate student Leina Girgis self-published a book of poetry called Her Thoughts Past Midnight. Do you want me to just push? She wrote the poems, created the artwork, and set up a retail site where people can purchase her book. Her publication does not have an ISBN, and it did not go through an editor from a publishing house. But nevertheless, it's creative output. Should we celebrate her and others by including them in this annual event? We asked the same question when Westfall professor John Yearley submitted his play, 8 minutes, 20 seconds, for recognition. Again, he wrote the play, and the performance rights are available to purchase online. But it is neither a registered book nor a peer-reviewed journal article. So these submissions caused us to pause and reflect on the future of our event. What makes someone an author of a published work? How do we identify a published authoritative report of knowledge or creative expression that builds reputation of higher education's contribution to society? And how can we integrate recognition of Drexel authors utilizing different publication formats into our annual event? You may wonder why we struggle with these questions. Well, librarians have long worked to influence the scholarly communications and publishing landscape. We support authors to navigate those landscapes to become agents of change through instruction and guides on publishing options, ISBNs, authors' rights, and licensing. The libraries also work to help integrate and strengthen systems that will globally recognize you and your works that inspire other research and expand exchange of ideas. That builds Drexel's visibility and raises a sense of belonging. Together, this helps improve our ability to recruit and retain talented colleagues excited to change the world through our academic educational research activities. The publishing world is increasingly more complicated, no matter what you're publishing. Libraries can help guide students, faculty, and staff through the world of scholarly communications and to promote Drexel outputs in support of scholarship and research. We will continue to do so through this and other events, through our resource guides, by applying our staff expertise, and by building integrated systems and improved, effective, reliable services. The questions raised by all these dynamic changes offer us much food for thought. So after our formal program, I invite you, while enjoying a beverage and a snack together, to informally exchange your thoughts about who to recognize as exemplars of authors that help bring us together, inspire our intellectual life, and give us pride in Drexel's contribution to sharing knowledge through publications for the betterment of society. Paul and I are delighted to hang out with you and see how we all come together to applaud our honorees and mingle with other colleagues. So think ahead to the 11th annual authors event in 2023. Help us make that another rewarding celebratory experience. So it's now my pleasure to turn the mic over to Provost Paul Jensen. He's also professor, but Provost Paul Jensen, who will talk more about the importance of scholarship to the university and will read the names of our prestigious journal article authors. Paul.
Hey, looks like we're going to have to, I think I can adjust here. Hold on. This is a truly interesting setup. All right, I think we're good. Good afternoon, everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. If I remember correctly, I think Danuta and I stood on Market Street three or 4 years ago talking about this event and other related events and the importance of it. And so it is absolutely a pleasure to be here to celebrate our scholarship as a university. Obviously, we're celebrating your scholarship today. It's also just a pleasure to be here celebrating being with each other, being here on campus, having the ability to be here on campus. But I also want to recognize the importance of having our colleagues join online as well to sort of maximize participation in this difficult time.
Sorry, this is killing me.
This is killing you. This thing's really steep. I don't know if it's gonna.
I need to not look up at you.
We're having okay. Well done. So, okay. So we're set now. So again, pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to be here celebrating the 10th anniversary of this important event, celebrating Drexel's faculty's contributions to scholarship and creative expression, and the importance of that work for Drexel and the global community. This commitment to sharing knowledge is core to what we do at Drexel. Today, we recognize a remarkable list of publications, from scholarly journal articles to textbooks, nonfiction, fiction texts, poetry, children's books, all of which are a source of pride for the university. And we recognize the authors who put incredible work into publication. The impact and importance of this work goes far beyond individual authors and research teams. It advances scholarship, bridges gaps between disciplines and fields, creates new insights in fast emerging areas, and introduces us to characters, places, and ideas we otherwise would not have known. These publications also serve to raise Drexel's reputation as a hub of innovation. They contribute to global science and research advances in crucial areas like health and medicine, climate change, COVID-19, and systemic racial discrimination. Our authors help the universities recruit and retain the brightest faculty and staff, and educate students into thoughtful, engaged leaders. I want to thank and recognize all of the authors and researchers for their hard work and dedication to their professions, to their colleagues, and to their students. Only a small subset of Drexel's 2021 authors will be called by name today. In fact, Drexel librarians identified over 2,300 scholarly articles published in 2021. But we celebrate all Drexel authors for their contributions to advancing the university's research, teaching, and scholarship. I also want to thank Danuta and her library staff for all that they do for this university. Thank you, Danuta. This includes introducing impactful tools, as Danuta was just describing, to uncover the university's achievements, improving infrastructure to facilitate knowledge, and publicly celebrating our reputation through this and other events. So thank you to you and your team, Danuta. Now it is I am pleased to recognize Drexel's impactful journal article authors. The 33 Drexel affiliated authors who contributed to 19 peer-reviewed journal articles classified as highly cited papers by Clarivate Analytics in 2021. Highly cited papers perform in the top 1% of their fields based on the number of citations that year. This is truly a prestigious ranking. Please join me in recognizing Drexel's researchers who contributed to highly cited papers in 2021. The gold dragons on the screen denotes authors who have previously been recognized at this event. Authors who are here, you can please stand when your name is called, and perhaps our colleagues joining remotely, maybe you can raise your hand or give us a wave. So with that, are we, okay. So for our colleagues online, if you want to try to come off mute and say hello, we may be able to see you. So we will start with the College of Arts and Science. Michael Capagna. And we will pause so that people, instead of me reading the whole thing, we'll let you read about Michael and all our authors here. Stacey, I'll let you set the pace. Jinyu Kong. Michael Kavakovich. Stephen Scalfani. Naoko Kirahashi Nielsen. And from our College of Engineering, Mark Anai. Michelle Barsoum. Michael Carey. Adam Goad. Yuri Gutzi. Charles Haas. There's Chuck. Mai Kang Han. Kanet Han Tayana Sira Sakul. Simi Hoke. Kathleen Molesky. Tyler Mathis. Asia Sarachiva. Mikhail Shakirov. Christopher Shuck. Simge Uzun. Armin Vahid Mohammadi. And finally, Jin Wen, sorry. And from our College of Medicine, Mandy Binning. Aviva Goldman. Robert Sadeloff. And Michael Sherman. From the Dornsife School of Public Health, Eloni Avila Palencia. Sherelle Barber. Usama Bilal. And Shariki Kamiyaka. Ana Diaz-Rue. And Lonnie Taub. And finally, from our School of Biomedical Engineering and Science and Health Systems, Hassan Ayez. I believe that's our final one. So again, congratulations to all our authors. Thank you for everything you do for Drexel, and thank you for raising Drexel's visibility and scholarship and helping to shape research globally. So let's give our authors a round of applause. So I will turn it back to Danuta, who will introduce the book authors. I'll let you adjust everything.
Yes, yeah, maybe if I could grow it.
Because the feedback is kind of distracting, so just talk very loudly.
Well, that's a challenge. All right, I'm going to talk very loudly. If somebody in the back can't hear me, raise your hand. All right, I'm going to try it without this.
Yes.
So thank you, Paul, and congratulations to our journal article authors. It's now my pleasure to introduce our 2021 book authors, editors who represent 10 colleges and schools and 1 administrative unit. Now, am I positioned all right with this? Okay, good. From the College of Arts and Sciences, Richard Astro. And again, if you're present, feel free to stand and let us recognize you. Doctoral student, Leina Champlin. Co-authors, David DiMatteo and Kirk Halburn. Sarah Gift. Elizabeth Kimball. Kelly O'Connor. Julia Otto. Doesn't work here.
Consider this my notice.
That's right.
I'm just kidding. This won't break me. It's fine.
Hey.
It might break me. I'm lying. This might be the end.
Rachel Paston. It's Julia who stopped us.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes, it's gone too far. We have to go back a little. Well, there should be a Megan Poland. Megan Poland.
We're gonna keep.
I can go with the flow. Look at this. Oops. Rachel Reynolds, and I know she's here. Rachel. Gail Rosen. Scott Warnick. There no Scott's in there. Someone stood. We have a shy audience here. Rachel Weaver. And Hugo Wardeman. From the College of Engineering, Christine Fury. And Walter Subkev. From the College of Medicine, Arnold Iser. Wei Yi Lee. Patricia Pincombe. Jennifer Romeo. Donna Sudak. William Tobia. And Walter Waller. From the College of Nursing and Health Professions, Corey Brudsky and Michael Brudsky. A father and son, and the father too is an alum. It's nice to see. Rita Carroll. Gloria Donnelly. Misty Kirshner. And Melissa Souza. Linda Wilson. From the Dornside School of Public Health, Neil Goldstein. Darius McDaniel. Dominic McDaniel. From the LeBeau College of Business, Warren Christopher. Co-authors, Murugan Anna Darayan and David Kurtz. Benjamin Lev. Dylan Luong. Is he showing up? Roger McCain. From the Office of Institutional Advancement, Sarah Nannery. From the Pennoni Honors College, Cordelia Biddle. and Dean Paula Marantz Cohen. From the School of Education, Stephanie Smith Budai. Paige Starr. From the Klein School of Law, Scholar Blackshear. Co-authors, James Castanera.
That's pretty close.
Oh, thank you. Paul Flanagan. James G. Pole. And two alums, Bridget Mead and Jarrett Miller. And Veronica Finkelstein. From the Westfall College of Media Arts and Design, David Greenberg. Joe Steinhardt. And our final author recognized today, Andrew Zitzer. Now I ask you, please join me in congratulating all of our 2021 authors and editors and give them a round of applause. So that concludes the formal portion of our program, but please continue to send us details about your 2022 publications so we can recognize your work during next year's event. And we continue to collect donated book copies this year. Contact Library Communications Manager, who you've now gotten to know real well, Stacy Stanislaw, if you are interested in donating a copy of her book recognized during today's event. Copies of those publications that we receive will go on display in the case outside the Provost's office in the main building before reaching their final home in the faculty author collection within the university archives. So now I'm pleased to invite you all to enjoy some refreshments and continue conversation and celebrations with our authors and guests. For those of you who joined us remotely, thank you again for dialing in, and we hope to see you in person very soon. Thanks again.